Sometimes you're right and sometimes you're wrong. Who knows the answer? Let's agree as one. It's much too late for war, not peace. It makes no sense for human eyes to feed, 'cause you can't see. Let's learn to disagree, can't we? Just be one family. The greatest love of all is to love yourself. When you're filled with love, you love someone else. Everybody come on, 'cause when you love yourself, you love God himself.
Welcome to the Lessons of Love show. I'm Dr. Jennifer Alves, Doctor of Physical Therapy, and the author of the 10 Commandments for Loving Yourself. Today we're going to be continuing our series on how to love yourself. We're looking at the 10 Commandments for Loving Yourself, and we're talking about the 5th commandment, and that is, do not mistake sex for love. Now, why is that so important? Why do you need to know how to distinguish between sex and love? Well, it seems to me in our society that there's a lot of misconceptions and misunderstandings between sex and love. Now, why is that? Well, if you look at the media, they're showing people just indiscriminately getting involved physically in these relationships, and in the end you'll see that a lot of people end up getting hurt. And this is not just men or women. Both genders get hurt by this. Because truly deep down, we all want to feel accepted and have a special person in our lives, don't we? Well, the best way to do that is to educate yourself and know the difference between sex and love. Now, how can you do that? Well, if you look at the differences between men and women, men are pretty much groomed to not really be too much connected to their emotions, so to speak. And women, of course, are very much involved in their emotions. So men have the ability to have a disconnect on many occasions. But in some very scientific studies out there, and you can read them for yourself, it does show that when a man really loves a woman, he will ask her to marry him. He will. And if you go ask some of your male friends yourself, they'll tell you the same things. We heard from some people on the streets saying that in some of these colleges that both men and women are being hurt because they think that by getting involved in sexual relations, that that's actually a means of getting that person to love them or not lose that person. They have a fear of loss. But what we've learned is that in the end, these people end up without these relationships anyway because they weren't founded on love to begin with. They were founded on sexual behaviors. Now, in a relationship, you do want sex and love together. That's what a whole relationship is about. Two people come together physically, they come together emotionally, but you have to have a foundation of love first. Because when you have a foundation of love, you have commitment. And it's commitment that actually is what love is all about. As you've heard, in the media many times that, oh, that person just left me after, a month or so of dating. Does that really surprise you? Does it really surprise you if you get together and have sexual relationships with somebody and then a month later they leave you? That should come of no surprise. It's very easy to be physical with anyone out there. Anybody can be physical with anyone. But is that what you really want for yourself? What we want, when we love ourselves, we want to be with a person that really loves us. So, to help you go through life, help you raise your family. You don't want to be with someone that's just around for a fun ride, and when that thrill is gone, then they're gone. Now, do you? Because in the end, you're going to end up paying child support, having children at the wrong time when you're not ready for it, and over time have these rejections start to eat away at your self-esteem and your ego, and that's not healthy for anybody. Again, this is not just an issue with women. It's also an issue with men. Men, too, want to respect the person that they're with. I've heard many men saying, oh, sure, I'll have sexual relationships with that person. Would I marry them? No. they know what they're doing, like a lot of women. So when you're out there in the dating world, be true to yourself. Hold off on sexual relations. Let the person fall in love for you. Be willing to marry you in the event that you do have a baby that hasn't been planned. Then they'll be there by your side, rather than having to be alone later in life, fighting through your life as a single parent. That's not really fun, and it's very difficult. So remember, when you love yourself, you will not mistake sex for love. Because you know what? You deserve to find the love of your life. And everybody out there is special. And there will be somebody out there just for you. So be true to yourself. But enough of what I have to say about it. Let's take it to the streets and see what other people have to say about it. We're here today with our special guest, David O'Connell from the Mother of Life Center. And where are you located?
We're at 400 Atwells Avenue in Providence.
We're doing a special series on the 10 Commandments for loving yourself, and we are discussing one of the chapters on do not mistake sex for love. So Dave, if we were to maybe give some guidance on how not to mistake sex for love to some of the women out there watching, is there something that you could say to maybe help them, discern sex and love?
Sure, to tell the difference between the two. The world says sex and love are interchangeable. But, let's just use common sense. Common sense tells us that sex is a physical activity between a man and a woman. They physically come together in their body, in union, in sexual intercourse, and they have physical sex. It's a normal thing. In fact, the animals have sex. Every creature, mammals in the world, they all have sex. It's a physical thing. Love, on the other hand, is not physical at all. Love is a disposition of the soul where one person tells another person, I love you, and you can say it with your eyes closed, you can say it on paper. It's a disposition of my soul to another person saying that I'm going to put your welfare and your goodness ahead of mine. And it's not physical at all. There are physical expressions of my love. I might want to give my dear wife flowers on Valentine's Day, or I might want to take her to dinner. There's a lot of ways of physically expressing love. But the love in my soul is spiritual and invisible and intangible. It's a devotion of my heart to another person. Then my physical body will express it in a variety of ways. Maybe if I'm in love with my wife, if I am, I should be, then we will have sexual relations. But just because someone has sexual relations doesn't mean they love you.
Well, if I have my boyfriend and I know that he's, wants to be sexually active and he tells me that he loves me, shouldn't that be enough?
It should be enough only if he's prepared to do this. If he's prepared to say, number one, if you get pregnant, I'm going to stand by you and we're both going to take care of that child together. And aside from that, my dear young lady, the boyfriend says, you're going to give yourself to me totally. Completely, in your complete intimacy, we'll be together and you'll give your heart and soul to me. And I'm going to give my heart and soul to you. So why don't we just marry one another and say we're going to stick together throughout? The problem with just being in love, the way that you've described it, is that love that they're talking about is affection or physical attraction. The guy says, I think we really hit it off. I really get along with you. You laugh at my jokes, I laugh at yours. Let's just have fun together and let's just be intimate with one another.
Right.
But that's just affection. That's a desire to be with somebody you like. But love means that you're going to be there when it's not so easy. When the other person, are you going to be there when I get sick? Are you going to be there when I lose my job? Are you going to be there when difficulty comes? If we have a big fight, are you going to leave me or are you going to stay here with me? Even though we're angry at each other.
Through thick and thin. Are
we going to stick together? If that's what you decide to do, and that's what we call marriage, when you agree to do that and never leave one another, if you're going to go to that degree, then you can give one to another, man to woman, woman to man. And you're happy when a beautiful new life comes about because you love your wife and she loves you and the two of you are making this brand new baby that's part of you and part of her, but its own person.
So it's a
joyful thing.
Joyful.
Take away that commitment, which really is love. That's the love we're talking about, right?
Right.
Take away that love. And all you'll end up with is something temporary. And this is where the woman gets really hurt. The guy gets hurt, but the woman gets really hurt because she's looking for relationship, for friendship, for somebody to be with me, even when times are hard. Someone for me to love is what she says. And she's trying to love him, trying to care for him. And he's just not committed. He's not prepared to be as devoted as she is.
So in the end, they're really alone anyway. I mean, to take care of their baby. They might have been afraid initially to not get involved in sexual relations because they might lose that relationship. But in the end, they really didn't have a relationship.
Not really.
Right.
It was,
that's the sad thing that people need to become aware of, right?
It's temporary. And so many things are disposable. It's a throwaway society. And women are very often, and men, are only thinking up to tomorrow.
Right.
Maybe not even tomorrow. Maybe just till tonight. Well, let's have some long-range plans. And this is what we try to give a lot of the women who come here. I'd like them to have a vision. A vision for their own life. Not their parents' vision, not their boyfriend's. Have a vision of their own. What do you want out of life? And I say, what do you think of this vision? I mentioned it to a young woman the other day. And I said, how's this for a vision? You stop having sex with any man until you find a good man. Mm-hmm. And you be a good woman. Okay? And when you find a good man and you're a good woman, you decide that you're not going to have sexual relations until you marry. Mm-hmm. You're going to require him to marry you, to show love before the sex.
That's right. Mm-hmm.
Okay? And that means devoted, committed, everlasting love before the sex. And that happens all the time. A lot of people are married with that devotion. And then here's the vision that I mentioned to her. After you're married, in love, the love comes first, then you have all the sex you want. And you relate to one another physically, all you want. It's a natural way to go. Mm-hmm. And when the children come along, and he's there, and you're there, I said, young lady, how's that for a vision for your life? She said, that's a pretty good vision. I like that. She didn't know anybody in her life who lived that way. Everyone in her life was either a single mother, or father wasn't around, or they're different fathers of different children. So many women today don't have that vision.
They don't, because there aren't a lot of role models, especially on TV, which is what a lot of messages are out there. A lot of people are out there doing things that are not healthy for them, but that's all people are seeing. So that's all they know. That's what you're saying. That's all they know. Mm-hmm. So one of the things that we like to tell people there when you're learning how to love yourself, because you deserve to have a healthy, loving relationship. And when you love yourself, you want the best for yourself, and you'll be in a better position to accept real love when it comes your way. So one thing I think that was very wise, what you were telling everybody out there, is to really wait, because you're worth waiting for. When the right person comes along, they will wait for you because you're worth waiting for. Is that what you would have to say?
That's certainly what it is. And a woman should realize that one of the greatest powers, and it's a man's power too, is to create another human being. Mm-hmm. We can create great buildings in the space shuttle, and we can build a Panama Canal, wonderful, big creations. But nothing is more powerful than creating another human being.
And that's the truth.
Brand new. This is the greatest power we have, and we shouldn't use it lightly. And I want women and men, women specifically, to think about your reproductive power, your procreative power, as we say in the church, the ability to create a new person. Don't hamper or destroy, even temporarily, that power in your life. It's so rich, it's so wonderful. Look at it and use it for good. And the reason I say use it for good, that is to create new people, is that as soon as we misuse one of God's gifts, whatever it is, our reproductive powers are one thing, it comes back to haunt us and to harm us and to bring destruction into the world, one way or the other. It'll harm us physically, but it can also harm us spiritually. When God has given us this great gift and we toss it aside as if it's worthless, we're harming ourselves as well as insulting God.
You have the ability to start your life over at any time you choose to do so and find the love of your life that you deserve. David, I want to thank you for joining us today. Is there anything else you'd like to say to our audience?
The last thing is if anyone needs assistance, if anyone needs to learn more about this, because for many women or men who are watching us, it's not a part of their life. They can contact us at the Mother of Life Center at any time.
And your phone number is?
421-0820. Or you can go to a church, a Catholic church, you can go to a Greek Orthodox church, talk to a priest. Find a priest and say, Father, you know, I heard this man and woman talking about sexuality. I had never heard anything like that before. Can you tell me more about it?
Okay.
And go and find out what God has in store for you, especially in your power of reproduction.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jen.
Thank you.
Hello, we're at Rhode Island College, and I'm here with Alderman. And our special topic today is do not mistake sex for love. Now, Alderman, do you think a lot of people are mistaking sex for love? What's your opinion on this?
Yes, I do think a lot of people mistake sex for love. I mean, we have a lot of media that promotes that.
The radio or?
Television.
Okay.
They promote that having multiple sex partners is fine. And I don't believe in that. I think monogamy is the best way to go. But yeah, I think media,
advocates
that, yeah.
Okay, now, do you think it is the women that are being fooled that sex equals love, or is it the men that are being fooled?
I think nowadays it goes both ways. Because I think everybody is just promiscuous. Everybody wants to be having sex. I mean, I live in the dorms and everybody, that's all they want to do.
Is this the guys? That's all or the girls
no,
too?
Women. Yeah, the girls too.
Okay, and what are some of the consequences for mistaking sex for love?
A big reality one would be an STD.
All right.
That would be a big one.
What's another consequence for a young man?
Confusing feelings. I think a lot of people are not in touch with their feelings.
All right. What's a consequence for a lady, young lady?
I think the same. It goes both ways.
Okay. There's also, other than STDs, there could be pregnancy.
Oh yes, of course.
And child support for the man.
Yes, of course.
All right. Can you give us a little bit more of your viewpoint on what's the smartest avenue to take? Because there's so many different messages that people are getting from the media and from their friends.
I think everybody's free to do whatever they want to do. But I would say, for me, I would be abstinent. I am abstinent. And I just, I want to be with someone that I love and share that. And if sex comes with that stuff.
That's great to hear that. What happens if you're confronted with peer pressure, possibly from a young woman that you love?
I would just, if we both feel comfortable, then yeah.
But you've just broken your own rule.
No. I mean, like, if we're both comfortable and we both, like, if we're both in, deep enough in the relationship. I have a rule, 6 months.
Okay.
So, that's for me, 6 months to wait.